What is up with y'all, man? Yo, it's been a minute. It's been a good minute since um I've talked to y'all, since I've posted anything, since I've copped some things in the recent months, but not much, not much. And I just haven't made videos on them. You know what I mean? I've just been focusing on my other channel. I just been working, physically working, mentally working, spiritually working. We have to stay focused. On our uh, peace and mind, not peace of mind, peace and mind. So yeah, I just been focusing on that. So here I am again today. It's been a minute, like I said. I thought I'd post these. I should have posted um, me actually getting these last night. So, and it's my first pair. This is my first pair. So I said to myself, here in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, we get snow in the winter. Some winters are lighter than others, but we get snow in the winter. So I said, you know what? It's been a couple years since I've worn some boots. No. Actually, I had some boots last year, which was some Converse boots, some zip up boots. They were pretty dope. It's just after a while, it was a different kind of boot. It really was. It was a different kind of boot. I got them on sale for $70 off the Converse website, and they were just a different kind of boot. No laces, just zip up in the front. Different from what I'm used to, different from what I'm ever purchasing, just different. And I ended up using those as my work boots. So I didn't. They got damaged and messed up pretty quickly. So I just didn't focus on talking about those. But here I am with this video here talking about these here. So last night I said to myself, yo, I need a winter boot, man. I just don't know what to get. Well, actually, I knew what I wanted to get. I wanted some Timberland double soled, all black boots. Um, and I went to a couple stores. I went to Foot Locker at first. Now, the thing with Foot Locker is Foot Locker doesn't have half sizes. That's the thing with Foot Locker. Everything starts at a size 8 and up in men's. So I'm like, man, I know 8 is too big in my size. I wear size 8, but most sneakers and boots, I have to go either down a half size or a whole size, depending on what it is. So I said, man, I already know 8 is too big. Do you guys have a 7.5? They didn't have a 7.5, of course. I'm like, oh man. So they had a 7 and big kids, which fit. I had room, but I'm like, it's just, that's not me. So I says, man, I guess I'm gonna have to order on the website and just wait a couple weeks for them. So I went to the next store up, which was Snipes. My guys always come through, always has my size when I go to Snipes. So I went to Snipes, and again, they had the same boots. I said, hey, do you guys have the black Timberlands, the double sole Tims, and the 7.5? Guy said, yes, we do. I said, yo, if you got those, let me get those right now because I need an all black boot. In the winter time, fall, winter time, I am mostly wearing black because black, you don't have to think that through. That's just an easy color. It's a universal color. You don't have to think wearing all black through. You just throw stuff on. It looks nice, fashionable, easy, and you're good for the day. So they pulled those out, 7.5, perfect fit. I'm like, yo, let me check those out too. All black Tims, the field boot. So you got those in the 7.5? Yes, we do. All right, let me see those two. I haven't worn a pair of those in a long time either. The last time I had a all black pair of double sole Tims was in high school. Was in '97. My junior year in high school. That's the last time I had an all black pair. My father had given me those, and he had only pretty much like worn them like twice, and I wore those things down. Like I wore them almost every day. You know what I'm saying? So I said, let me get another pair. It's been over 20 years since I've had a pair. And I think it's about time for another pair. And the last time I had a pair of Tims, double sole Tims, was in 2016. That's the last time. So I said it's about time for another pair of Timberlands. Let me grab those. They had them, but I didn't jump on those. I didn't jump on the Timberland Field Boot either, which was comfortable. The insoles is thicker now. I will tell y'all that the new Field Boot Timberlands, the mid cut, those are very comfortable now. The sole is thicker and the insole is thicker, so those are very comfortable to stomp around in. I tried them on; they felt really really good. Not like how they used to be, where it was like bottomed out, sole was thin. It was like you felt they were nice until they started getting a little bit worn, and then they were uncomfortable. But now you could tell, like even when they're worn, they still feel nice. Like they've been revamped. Even the double sole Tims, they feel really nice walking around in them. Nice, they're very comfortable. So the third choice was these these bad boys right here. So I had tried these on. I tried on the Tims. I'm used to those. I tried on the Field Boot. I had plenty of pairs of those. I'm like, these I have never had before. So this is what I ended up going with, specifically because I had never had these before. Now, in my overall choice, in my first choice, I will always go with an old school Vasquez boot, Gore-Tex Vasquez boot. That will always be my number one go-to boot. Above all boots, that will always be my number one boots. I had three pair when I was coming up in high school, and I loved them. They weren't uncomfortable. It's just it takes a long time to break those, and especially in the snow, stomping around in the snow in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, those were perfect. The rubbers they get harder as it gets colder outside, easier to stomp around in the snow to grip. Fell in love with old school Gore-Tex Vasquez boots. So the last pair I had got from Patterson, New Jersey, from Civilized Nation for 160 back then, the all black pair. Can't go wrong with an all black pair of Gore-Tex Vasquez boots, old school boots. And anybody from this area, they know what that is. They know what I'm talking about. So I ended up going with these. Let's get right into these. Boom. So I ended up going with these Nike ACG boots. These were the third choice. They did have them in my size, which is a 7.5. They remind me of the old Vasquez boots in a way. Um, just it being all black, and thick sole with the air unit. I think these are fire. I went back and forth with myself about these for a long time. I like the grip on the bottom. I just like the way they're designed. My uncle had a pair. I see my uncle with a pair. I've seen plenty of people with these on. I don't know when these came. I forget when these came out, but I've always gone back and forth with myself about these only because of just like how they look and stuff like that. But if you wear these right, these are fire. So these were the third choice. They had them in the 7.5 in men's. I ended up getting these. They're the same. They're the same price as the Timberland boots. All of them were the same price. All of them retail $200. So if you catch them on sale, that's good. But I just need an all black boot to stomp around in. Trust me, these will be the only pair of $200 boots that I bought. Because even back then, Vasquez boots were around like 160, 180. Some of them were 200. So they're always around the same price. So I went with these. Nice fit. Now, what I will say about these, trying these on, these are much lighter than the Timberland boots. These are lighter. Okay, so I tried these on. I went with this one. I like the style. Um, you can rock these with some stack jeans. There are a lot of people that use these for work. But for me, I'm just gonna style them out. I'm gonna end up using these for work at some point. I know I am. I know me. These will end up becoming work boots once I've worn them down pretty much. Um, so yeah, I ended up going with these just regular all black, no mixed colors. I'm an all black guy. As you can see, I got an all black now making this video. So I went with these. These are fire. These are a light boot. I guess you can say sneaker slash boot. Now these have been out for a while, and yeah, I just think that these are still fire, man. These are pretty heavy in this area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. These are pretty heavy, pretty common to see. But this was the choice that I went with, so I'm happy with my choice. I like this right here, the hang tag. I went with these, but again, if it was my choice, I would have. If I could find an old school Gore-Tex Vasquez boot, all black in my size, I would have went with that. I went with that. Trust me, I tried. I tried searching around. I would have ordered them. I would have waited for them if I could find them, but I couldn't. I found a used pair on eBay, but who wants to wear used shoes? Well, not in that sense. Not in that sense. Let me take that back. Not in that sense. Now, who wants to wear used shoes? Because I know people that purchase used shoes. The thing is, when it comes to a boot like that, and when it comes to me and my preference, I'm always gonna go brand new when it comes to something that I want and that I like. I want to be the first one to wear it. I like putting my feet in a brand new shoe straight out of the box. That's just me. But yeah, this is the only boot that I have. It's the only boot that I own, and I'm happy with my purchase, man. These are fire. These are still dope. So if you are in the market for a boot, I do recommend these. These are light. You can walk around in these all day. I tried them on. I walked around in the store them on, and that's what made me pick these as well over the Timberlands because I've had Timberlands before. It's just that I've never had this, and it was these are a little bit lighter than Timberlands. Timberlands are heavy. They're durable. Can't beat Timberlands. You really can't. You can't beat Timberlands. But I said, let me switch it up. Let me be a little bit different. Let me go with something I've never had before. And these were the choice. So if you are in the market for a boot, grab a pair of these Nike ACG boots, all black. They have different colors, but me, I'm just an all black guy. Easy. You don't have to think these through. Stomp these out. These are a go, man. Green light on these. These are a go. If you're in the market for a boot, grab a pair.